I'm a 19-year-old living in Australia with the ambitious goal of retiring with $2.86 million invested while only making $50,000 a year. Now this may sound unachievable, and maybe it is, but I am and always will be ambitious, and I believe if you aim high, even falling short would be sufficient. But here's how I plan to do it. Now, for some basic context, I live in Australia, and I'm currently making close to $50,000 a year working in hospitality, and I've done so for the last 3 years. But I plan to leverage every asset I have available to ensure I get to where I want to be. So join me on this journey as I succeed and fail, so we can learn from my mistakes together. Now, speaking of assets, I'm talking about shares, property, even crypto, but most importantly, time. I am 19. My life has only just started, and the advantage I have is all the years I have left to live, develop, grow, and earn. And it doesn't matter if you're 19, 25, 30, even in your 40s. My favorite quote is, the best time to start was yesterday. The second best is today. So if you're ready to make a real change, then the best time to start is right now. This is because interest compounds, which basically means the money you make makes money for you. The earlier you put your money in, the more time it has to grow in the market. This is because of the things like S&P 500 and ASX 200 generally grow around 7 to 10% every year. So each year the money you put in is now 7 to 10% more than it was the year before. Now, if you're asking, but why 2.86 million? Well, let me tell you. Assuming a conservative rate of 3.5%, I would be able to generate an income of $100,000 every year through dividends and selling a portion of my shares. $100,000 a year without even having to work would be more than enough to satisfy me for retirement. Another lever I plan to utilize for retirement is my superannuation. In Australia, your employer contributes 12% of your paycheck minimum to a superannuation retirement fund. This money is also into investments like shares. The only difference is there are requirements to access this money, most commonly used upon retirement. So what does this mean for me and my plan? Well, it is a great tool and a resource I have access to. I don't consider it this amount when I'm talking about my $2.86 million goal, because it'll only be accessible to me upon my full retirement when I turn age 60. Even to me this number sounds large, but let me tell you how I plan to get there. Obviously, I don't plan to keep making $50,000 a year, so I am aiming for income growth. But even now, I'm saving around 50% of my income. I currently have an emergency fund of $3,000, and my savings are being split in half at the moment. $200 a week is going into dollar cost averaging investing, while the other half is entering a high yield savings account to save for a deposit on an investment property. I believe the earlier I can enter the market, the more success I will have, which is how I plan to leverage the asset of time. And I should mention that property may not be an investment strategy for everyone. However, there are many useful ways you can leverage property to work for you, not just through growth, but through time, refinancing, rental yield, tax benefits. The longer I can hold an investment property, the higher my rental yield will become, serving as another income stream to eventually fuel my other investments. And this is all great, but let me bring this back down to reality for a second while I share my current net worth. At this moment, I have a total net worth of $6,634.95. $2,000 of this is in various different stocks and ETFs, which I will break down at a later point. And the remaining $4,634.95 is in a high-yield savings account while I save for my first investment property, which I'm aiming to buy in the next 2 to 3 years. And I know, it doesn't sound like much now, but I've accumulated this over 3 months, and I've moved countries during this time. So for me to have that much net worth makes me so proud of myself. And what I'm trying to get across is that you don't need to start with a lot. $6.6 thousand is nowhere near close to $2.86 million. But with the right strategies and plan, you can aim big. You can get the number that will bring you freedom. No one said it would be easy, and it's not. I try to keep my expenses as low as possible. Here's how. I keep my weekly subscriptions only to the necessities, and I'm sure this will grow slightly as time goes on, but currently I pay $33.60 for the gym every fortnight, $25 for my plan every month, and the generously cheap rent of $320 a fortnight. Also, every day I train and bike to work, meaning I don't own a car, saving me money on car expenses, fuel, and insurance. Now, it is true that I have many advantages working on my side. I have access to a fantastic public transport network. I live with my parents, and my work provides lunch every day. And not everyone will be as fortunate as I am, but these are real levers in my life I'm using to become financially free. But that doesn't mean you can't do it because you don't have the same advantages I do. You absolutely can, and should save, and invest regardless. Will it take you a little longer than it might for me? Sure, but that doesn't make it not worth it. And I currently don't have a time frame to reach $2.86 million, but the earlier, the better. Retiring early is not something that appeals to me. However, the ability to feel financially free and secure does. I'm working towards this amount because if and when I reach it, I have the ability to do whatever I want. I'm not controlled by my income or forced to live my life around work, but rather work can live around my life. It buys me my time back because, let's be honest, no one actually wants to work a 9 to 5 days a week, every week for the rest of their life. And neither do I. To have the ability to go on a walk in the morning and not have my brain occupied by starting work later that day, or to be able to sleep in. It's the little things we take for granted that inspire me to do this. While this would be great, I'm still developing a plan to reach 2.86 million. And I plan to use levers like investing in property. Even this YouTube channel is something I'm hoping can make me extra income to help me support my goals. And just to clarify, I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. This is just my plan as a 19-year-old Australian to get ahead. So join me on this journey to my freedom numbers, and hopefully you too can grow and learn with me.